You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I'm your host, Matt Burns, and of course, this might be a bit unusual because you might have just noticed already. I'm all by myself this week. Unfortunately, John Balog is unable to make it this week due to a busy schedule. However, we felt as though that we needed to get some form of an episode out, but as we did promise last week that we would be live once again. However, due to John Balog being off, well, not being here, unfortunately, we will not be doing the. Well, I will not be doing the regular programming that we did originally guarantee, but we at least the very least we thought we'd be live for this week, and basically, hopefully, fingers crossed, schedules permitted, that we will be back to both of us being live on the broadcast next week. However, I can also state this has been a bit of a interesting week, or basically an interesting month, and as such, you may have actually noticed that yes, we had a long time period off, as such, but at the same time, because we made our return last week. However, we also mentioned something at the very end of the episode of last, even though it was pre-recorded. We mentioned that we would be discussing something very, very not prominently, just basically doing something that we normally do on every broadcast, as such, as we feel as though it's important, which is I am about to do a 1 minute silence due to the passing of Lionheart, who I can honestly say for the British wrestling scene was, an outstanding person, an outstanding wrestler, and he will be greatly missed as such. So I'm basically doing this as a 1 minute silence for Lionheart. So which I will be starting officially as of right now. And that will be the minute silence, most likely probably a bit longer if we were actually counting, but I thought I'd round it up to the minute of actually doing it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly state we thought we'd just pay tribute. So with that, please, 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 condolences to Lionheart's family, friends, and work colleagues, and please, 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 as we have already stated previously, please be very respectful to the family. Don't pester as such, but please be respectful in regards to the situation. Now, I've just done the minute silence, and unfortunately, that is not the only bad news that I've got to discuss this week, as I believe that I've got to discuss in regards to Jack Sexsmith. Now, this is somebody who I have seen personally myself, and he is a massively unique individual who has not only it's with a heavy heart that we are having to basically report that he has had to retire from wrestling. The one, something that he is very passionate and absolutely loves, and he will be greatly missed from wrestling. And to make matters worse, the reason why he's had to leave is due to medical and injury. As in regards to the details, please let me just state this: we haven't pried into this too much because the details could be potentially personal, and we're wanting for Jack Sexsmith to reveal the details himself. So with that, we are basically allowing Jack to reveal the actual details as such on possibly the major reason why he's leaving. If he doesn't reveal it, please respect his decision as such. But this is, I can also state, it is with a massive heavy heart that I'm having to report this, because I can also say Jack Sexsmith is somebody who I've actually seen wrestle. He is an absolute entertaining worker, and yes, he brought a unique flavour. Yes, he is a massive advocate for the LGBTQ plus, group and everything, and not only by incorporating all that, be it as a villain or as a as a hero as such, he did it with flair and gumption. He did it in such a way, it was almost like trailblazing as such. And I can also state he made a comment on Twitter that he is absolutely going to miss this place, but he hopes that he has left the wrestling business in a better position now than when he first started. And I can also say he has more than most has done that, because he has, it's the way he has incorporated certain things. And this is not all just down to him. This is as a whole, many other things as such. And it's something that I can also state, it's, with wrestling, it's become more together. It's not one person's niche. Anybody, it doesn't matter of who you are or how you look. It's, if you are a wrestling fan, you are part of the wrestling family as such. And Jack Sexsmith is an advocate of that message, and I can also say because of him providing that message, helping push that message, he has made wrestling become so much better, for the better, by pushing that message and helping push it along. And I can also say I couldn't be more prouder of the wrestler I was able to see and witness his wrestling ability. And as such, he did say he's not the fastest, not the strongest, he's not the most technical, but he felt as though he left a mark. And believe me when I say this, yes, he did. And that he can pretty much hold his head up high and say he has done a world of good for wrestling. And wrestling, and I'm not just on about just British wrestling, I'm on wrestling as a whole is going to, is going to miss him greatly. But I hope nothing but the best for him. And I'm pretty sure my colleague, if he was here, he would be doing this. He would be most likely stating the same thing. And it's just unfortunate in regards to it that we've had to that this turnabout has happened. However, he doesn't want to go, but he's got to go. But let me just state this: if he needs to stay, not as a wrestler, he'll be involved somehow or doing something. But let me just state this: whatever he does, he will be a trailblazer, and I hope nothing but the best for him. Now, on some additional interesting news, and I've got to state this: independent wrestling. There's a bit of a group going around, support independent wrestling, support it. With David Starr, you got Sugar Dunkerton, and many, many, many others. Pack, and there's some bigger, massive announcements coming out in regards to details of a massive announcement coming soon. I actually had this sort of briefly mentioned as I actually encountered Sugar recently. Last Friday I actually encountered him, and he was saying, wait patiently, there's some big news, so please keep an eye out in regards to Independent, which is a group that is in support of independent wrestling and the fact that they want to make it as big as as much as possible and help it grow in such a way that it is making the wrestling business thrive. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give that a check out. I believe they may even have a web. If they haven't got a website, there will be one coming soon. But they have got a massive announcement coming soon. Also, additionally, I'd like to mention that Turnbuckle TV is bringing out more content with some classic matches from the past. As such, so please, I believe they just recently put a match up in regards to William Regal, or Steven Regal as he was formerly known as when he was over here, and they are growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger as such, because I know I've already stated that Kind of Pro Wrestling, SWA is also joined, but it is something that I would recommend everybody to check out, Turnbuckle TV as such, because just for $3.99, and you are getting multiple companies, multiple content. It's pretty much growing out of your ears for the British wrestling. For British wrestling, there could be even more coming on to thrown onto it, at any moment in time. There is, as such, multiple companies on there. So, and everyone's saying, "Oh, it's $3.99." Break it down. That's $3.99 a month. Break that down. What is it? £1 a week. £1 a week. And I can also say £1 a week. And let me just state this: I'm not actually being paid to actually advertise this. I'm not being paid to advertise it as such, to basically state on it. But let me just state, please, please, please do check it out, as it is absolutely fantastic, and it is something that I would highly recommend because there's so much content on there. And yes, I know some people are saying you're not being paid for it, but you are a part of it because you are the UKWA. You are one of the UKWA owners as such, and UKWA is actually on there. Yes, they are, but I'm not just stating just for myself. I highly recommend it for any wrestling fan to check it out, because what more could you ask for in absolute stellar content? Absolute, you've got content coming out of your ears, and there's even more content being added on almost every week. And speaking of adding content, UKWA will be adding some content up there very, very soon, because unfortunately, yes, I will state there has been a massive delay in having UKWA Sugar Rush being uploaded onto Turnbuckle TV. as soon as possible. This is due to some technical difficulties that we did actually encounter. However, technical difficulties are being corrected, and as soon as they are corrected, it will be going up as soon as possible. And but to check to see when it is going to be most likely up on Turnbuckle TV, please keep an eye out on social media, be it on UK Way, Turnbuckle TV as such, and also on the Burning Truth, because we will be most likely be sharing that on the Burning Truth social media as well. But let me just state this: it is a bit of a different week because we're not going to be talking about the regular stuff, and I feel as though I've actually also missed some interesting topics as such. But we will be coming back to it most likely next week when I've got John Bloor back. However, instead, I'm going to make this a bit more of a shorter episode than normal. But instead, I'm going to be focusing on some actual wrestling that I've actually been up to. Yes, I know this sounds like more of a self plug. Yes, as such, but more importantly, it's about checking out wrestling, British wrestling, be it either be from, even if myself is on it or if I've actually been there to watch it myself. Now, let me just state, last week I was actually at United Wrestling as such, and I will state, absolute massive, brilliant card as such, and I believe I was up against the vicious one, Jordan Lee, and I will state, an absolute competitor, very, very ferocious and vicious as such, because I believe he almost took out my knee as such, especially even using at some point using the heavier, the hardest part of the ring, the edge of it, by bashing it. But however, I actually managed to get the win. Yes, unfortunately, I know that's a spoil, which is normally against the rules that we normally have on the Burning Truth. But I can honestly state, please check out United Wrestling. Better yet, check out all local wrestling, of course. But let me just state, that was an absolute amazing show. How brilliant, especially one of the matches that I'd say was a standout for myself was a triple threat match for the British, the United British Championship, which pitted the current champion, which is Paul Malin, versus Bjorn, or the Almighty Bjorn, and of course Ryan Myatt. Absolute stellar triple threat match. No, I'm not going to be doing any spoilers on that match, of course, but I believe that could end up being uploaded onto Turnbuckle TV as well. So at any moment, but please check that out, of course. And also, if you are interested in finding out results, please check out their social media. And this week, I can also say, very packed wrestling week for myself, because Friday I was at Pro Wrestling For You. Now, allow me to state this for a moment. I was involved in a match called the Josh Brown Battle Royal Memorial. And I can honestly say, yes, I didn't get the win. So, unfortunately for another additional spoiler there, but I'm not actually revealing who won. But I can honestly say, I could not be any more proud of that show, as they were, a lot of the money is going to charity as such, and some, even some of the workers were helping put towards it. And I can honestly say, absolute excellent show, top to bottom, didn't miss a beat, and I can honestly say, highly recommend it to anyone to check out wrestling. If anybody is a fan of wrestling, please check out United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling For You, and Academy Pro Wrestling, UK Way. Yes, I know I'm throwing a self plug in there, but let me just state this: please always check out your local wrestling, because I can honestly say, at Pro Wrestling For You, absolutely phenomenal show, and I believe there was even an after party which I can honestly say I will never ever forget. And I can also now cross off my list, off my wrestling list, is the fact that I've actually shared a ring with an import and that will be none other than Sugar Dunkerton. Thank you for sharing I can also state that man is so entertaining, and any show that he is on, highly recommend you going, regardless of the cost. He is worth every penny just to see that man wrestle. He is above and beyond entertaining and an all-round excellent person to know. And of course, last night I was at Academy Pro Wrestling, where they were crowning their first ever Academy Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, which are Kings of the Ring. I will not be doing any of the results right now, but it's something I would recommend anybody to check out, as it was massively entertaining. Great show, top to bottom, and I can honestly say you will, once again, content coming out the years, because I believe they've got Academy Pro Wrestling have got their own subscription, part of the subscription on the website, which they're also part of Turnbuckle TV, and are absolutely knocking it out of the park, going strength to strength on every show that they are doing, and I can honestly state, would highly recommend anybody to check it out. And of course, I believe I actually missed off one more show actually, which was from last week, which was FCW, which is Madness. This is Baggerage, which was actually on the Sunday, which was the 30th, I believe the 31st, yes, on the 31st of June, and I can also say I was actually there to commentate, and believe me when I say this, I ended up calling an absolute barn burner of a show, and at one point during the show I almost entirely lost my vocals because there was that much action going on, and it's another wrestling company I'd recommend anybody checking out. As I've always stated, please, please, please always check out your local wrestling, as always. And yes, I know we should be doing some, we've missed predictions for numerous weeks, because due to the time off and due to last week's episode being a bit of a different episodes than normal, but we will most likely be most likely be returning to our regular scheduled programming, hopefully. But on top of that, we will be also be building up some additional content as such for the Burning Truth. Now, with the Burning Truth, you may have noticed that yes, we are a wrestling broadcast, and I'm actually interested in finding out on one thing. Are you only interested in hearing us talk about wrestling, or would you like to hear us talk about additional subjects, possibly games, possibly movies, or any other topics as such? If you are interested in hearing, us talk on other subjects other than wrestling, but let me just state this: if we do decide to have additional other subjects, we will most likely do a record, potentially either do another recording or another broadcast as such, and save that for another day, because we will be keeping Sunday for our regular scheduled program on a Sunday for wrestling, where we can talk throughout the whole week of wrestling as such. But if you are interested in us talking about it on additional subjects, it can be non-wrestling related. It can even be if there's any subjects within the wrestling business that you want us to discuss, let us know. If anybody wants to let us know, please get in touch with us either through our social media, either direct messaging us through the Burning Truth page. You can either get onto the website directly and you click on the contact us page, send it through there, and all the above ways to we do want to make it a conversation as such, and on top of that, we also want to be able to bring more content building as well. So with that, I'm going to make that a wrap up for this week. Yes, I know, unfortunately, this is a shorter than usual episode, but hopefully we will be back next week as such with our regular scheduled programming, where we'll be most likely discussing some of the ongoings associated with Ricochet being the US champion, AJ Styles turning, and many other topics as such. But until then, I'll hopefully catch you next week. But before that, I'm going to run down, the plugs that I normally have to cover, which are, as always, please check out UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. Please check out UKWM, also known as UK Wrestling Media. Please check out Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy, as the beginner classes are on Monday, £10 per class, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. If you have the location details, please check out their social media. Check out JG Printing and Stitching, as they absolutely do fantastic work. Please, of course, check out Mind and Changes for Health and Wellbeing, as they are absolutely fantastic charities that I would highly recommend anybody checking out, because they do so much for mental health, and as such, it's a big topic I'm actually a big supporter of. And who knows, if it does actually start a conversation, who knows, the information that could be shared between as such could actually end up proving, that conversation could end up prove vital in regard to someone's mental health. Also, I also recommend another company as well, which is JFX3D, as they do actually some custom made designs, and are also able to make custom made championships. Who knows? I could be in touch with them in future, because UKWA might be in need of some new championships. Who knows? Not hinting there. Of course, we also recommend you also check out Team 4-Star, especially with the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series, of course. Please check out bands like The New Breed, Kamen's Blackpool, as such. And as of course, as always, please check out Botchamania and WrestleCap. And of course, OSW Review. I recommend everyone on YouTube check out Philip DeFranco, as he always brings interesting news. And I believe he could be bringing up another YouTube channel that will be doing more in-depth news and try and make it as unbiased, make it fair on both sides when discussing the news as such. Please check out When Fandom Strikes, be it on YouTube and of course on TikTok, the application. Please check out Luke Moto, who always seems to be bringing out fresh content on YouTube as such. Please check out Geek of the Week for all your comic related geekness, especially with Magic Mark at the helm. Of course, I can also say, if you are a true geek nerd, into your comics, be it DC, Marvel as such, please check out Geek of the Week. Absolutely amazing podcast, and I would highly recommend it. Please, of course, check out Kayfabe Music for any custom-made music, as they do actually custom-made music, custom-made wrestling entrance music as such, and they do absolutely phenomenal work. Please check out Turnbuckle TV, as I've already been plugging it up on this episode, of course, as a subscription, £3.99 a month. As I've said already, £1 a week for loads of content, and of course, as always, we always recommend you check out your local wrestling, just for an example as such for local wrestling: United Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling for you, and of course, as I've always stated, UKWA, and many more. And of course, there's absolutely loads. Future Shock Wrestling and everything, and all the above. Please check out your local wrestling, and of course, please check out the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. I'm not going to run down the usual list of what's on there, as if you are interested in finding out more details in regards to the Burning Truth, go on to there. If you want to get in touch with us, get onto there. We'll also have links, some of the links that we've already mentioned, some of the things that we've already give shout out to, we'll probably have some links on there so you can go to them. However, please do not hold us responsible for any external websites, as we cannot be held responsible and do not have control of them. Please check out our social media, as we have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course Twitter, which the handle for Twitter is a bit different, which is, I'll spell it out, the handle for you on there, which is WRESLING/THWALL. We, of course, have past episodes on Spotify. And, of course, that has been the Burning Truth for this week. And thank you very much for, listening in to this week. As much as it is a short episode, I do apologise for that. We will be returning to our regular scheduled programming. And that is a wrap-up for this week. So please, as always, I will hopefully catch you next week. So until then, please, please, please stay well, stay safe, and of course, as always, please check out your local wrestling. Until then, stay safe, and I'll catch you later.